Hello, hello out there, everybody. I'm a little under the weather, so gonna try not to cough into the mic too much. But we're back. Round number 3, Hungaroring, track limits racing sports car series. Hungary's a good track. Multi-class racing at this magnitude, questionable. Does look like we do have a few more minutes left in free practice while we're getting set up for the stream. Hopefully the audio is going okay. You're probably going to break the timing tower. Are you just like giga fast in like a GT4? You just do like LMP3 speeds? Dual entries? Help me understand. What do you mean? This is news. I do not see 2 Jaden Ledbetters. Oh, pulling off track. All right. Anyway, we'll get into the show. Whelpcakes, thanks everyone for joining us for round number 3 of the sports car series here at Hungaroring. We've got heat race that's going to be gearing up here in a moment. People are messaging me in broadcast. That's cool. Because you did a dumb thing registering. Yep. That does look like 2 different Jaden Ledbetter entries. Although I wonder if it's just not showing for me because you got out of the server before I jumped in. But we'll see. So yeah, getting geared up for qualifying here in a moment. We still have a little less than 11 minutes here in free practice. Hungaroring's a pretty wild track. I think qualifying is going to go phenomenal, but that's because no other cars are on track at the same time. It's isolated qualifying. Let's see here. Can we pull up leaderboards? Let's find out. Is this going to show up? Let's see. Okay. I do. Don't think it is. I think my overlay for the leaderboard is not functioning. Not sure why. Not coming up. So we're going to have to do it manually. So bear with me, everybody, as we talk it through. If you are interested at all, by the way, looking at the leaderboards yourself, I think it's site. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, open that link up. Join me over there for the as we talk through the leaderboard. So yeah, LMP3 Pro, Jack Wilkins on top right now with 95 points. Benjamin O'Shea only 6 points back. Luke Patrick's keeping it close. 89-85, separating Ben and Luke respectively. Herbert Pineda with 71 points in 4th, and Nathaniel Baker with 57 points in 5th place. We got some newcomers joining us. Cesar Torres be joining us in LMP3 Pro this weekend. LMP3 AM, Sean Sullivan. He's going to be on top of LMP3 AM with 72 points. Cesar is one of Logan's buddies. Excellent. So Black Saturn, I'm assuming. I saw Logan driving around with that livery. Sean Sullivan on top, but only 1 point ahead of Paul Miles. Really close fight. Well, actually, it's a really close fight for the top 3 spots. We've got Sean Sullivan, Paul Miles, Jake Fulton, 72, 71, and 70, respectively. Alan Love in 4th with 32 points. Just in front, tied with Brenton McFall and Logan Branson. So a 3-way tie for 4th. In GT3, Mike Gallant is leading the field by 10 points over Corey Lobner, with Tanner Schiffner only 3 points behind. That's your top three. Anthony Newman, Christopher Blue round out the top five. Let's see if we can find some other notable entries. We actually got a really tight pocket in P6 through, let's say, P10 with Gian Cardoso, Austin Green, Matt Pyle, Andrew Mathias, and Tommy Kogan. GT4 Pro, we got Scott Fleming on top with 92 points, Jake Hewitt in second with 85, and Nick Bowen in third with 82. Henry Garcia is in fourth with 80. So tight battle up at the top there. Over in GT4 AM, Chris Turner is on top with 37 points, Jonathan Barrett with 32, and Victor Liche with 29 points. GT3 manufacturers, McLaren in the lead by 40 points with Mustangs in second place and Mercedes in third. GT4 manufacturers, McLaren on top with 177 points and a whopping 66-point gap to Mercedes with 111. So let's jump over to the free practice times. We've got a little bit of time before we get into qualifying. We still got 6 minutes. Jack Wilkins on top of LMP3 Pro with that 140.158. I'm looking at the times, and I don't know what you all think, but those times look pretty tight. We've got, half second with the top three. Brenton McFall, not that far out. Jake Fulton and Brenton McFall, two LMP3 AMs up at the top. Pretty cool. And then I believe we've got Tyler Torville leading the GT3s right now. So Tyler Torville currently in the standings running in 17th with 35 points. So showing some good performance here at the Hungaroring with a 44.432. Andrew Mathias and Tommy Kogan are your top three. Hey, Chris, how you doing? You going to try and nail a couple DTs for me? Appreciate you. Putting on a show for the fans. Giving us a storyline. All in the chicane. Yeah, where it all happens. It's where the magic happens. GT4, we got Ethan Hamlin on top by a half second. Nobody's surprised there with Tim Rosenfeld. Probably Rosenfield, but anyway, Tim, been really good performances from Tim. Did see him had some good pace relative to the field. Hasn't been able to convert the results, but I think that's mostly due to on-track stuff. Chris Turner striking in the top three in the Mustang in GT4 AM. Chris Turner to GT4 Pro win in front of Scott Fleming. Chris, you're in front of the GT4 Pro points leader, bud. I think you've been misclassified. Are you literally the only GT4 AM here tonight? Easy points. Yep. You win 100% of the races when you're the only one. So just looking at the field right now, Hungaroring's kind of shuffled things up a little bit. Definitely not seeing... Well, in LMP3, we still got the strong showing in the front. But it does look like we've got a shake up at the front of GT3 with Tyler Torville and Andrew Mathias. They're up there at the front. Ethan Hamlet, Tim Rosenfield. Both of those have had pretty good times. Is the stream choppy? You need to let me know. You need to let me know. I do have Arkansas internet, so you're gonna have to bear with me on that, Benjamin. I am looking at Twitch Inspector, and it doesn't show that I've had anything crazy. Chris, I think my PC's faster than your house. Because it's pretty beefy. It's the internet that's the problem, Chris, not the PC. PC's fine. Are you watching on Xbox? I mean, Ben might be. Racing in an LMP3, watching on an Xbox. We can do it all here in the sports car series. So yeah, as we wind down free practice, those times are coming in. We got less than 2 minutes. Want to remind everybody, we do have more racing action next week. Pull up the schedule because I want to talk about all the stuff that's coming up. But yeah, we will be at Navarra next week, which I'm pretty excited about. Another 70-minute feature race, just like Hungaroring. And then on the 22nd, we will be at Le Mans for a 90-minute feature race. It'll be pretty cool. Looking through the mail slot. Do we need to get some on board from the mail slot? You met Corey and Sean? Very cool. I'm so sad I didn't get to go. Real life has just had me in the blender, man. I'll tell you about it sometime. You'll get a kick out of it. Yeah, adulting is terrible. 0 out of 5 stars. Would not do again. Is it just me, or does Jaden have like a fascination of only running these races when it's like dusk or with like a wildfire burning in the background? Yeah, we got we're gonna be switching over to scenic cam here in a minute. People were complaining about it being a sunset race. You can't make everyone happy, Jaden. Qualifying is getting started. Again, Hungaroring. Fun technical track. We're going to let people get started with their out laps while we talk about the circuit. Had a pretty boring F1 race. Who's this Torville guy? I don't know. Never met him. Never met him, don't know him. I'm kidding. He's pretty quick. Seems to be quick at the Hungaroring. RacingCircuits.info, fans rate this circuit 3 out of 5 stars. I mean, I think it's a cool circuit, but the F1 racing's bad. The first Formula One venue behind the Iron Curtain. Started in 1986. 2.72 miles or 4.38 kilometers if you measure things on the other side of the Atlantic. All right, let's... Actually, I think they probably use kilometers in Mexico, Canada, South Central America. I mean, pretty much everywhere that isn't here in the United States in freedom units. So let's get switched over. We do have some people getting ready to start posting times. Can we actually pull up the qualifying? Yeah, there it is. Now let's go to most exciting. Actually, let's try and get a lap or two around the track with somebody right now to see who's close. The missus is texting me. What she got to say? All right. Oh yeah, Tim's going through right now. Let's get in the roll bar. Hopefully the audio in the car is not too loud. On approach to turn 1. Downhill right-hander. Very easy to lock up on the inside and go bowling. We've seen that a time or two. On approach to the left-hander at turn 2. Again, downhill off camber. Easy to wash out. And he's going to kick it over to the right real quick as he goes through turn 3. Turn 4 is pretty harrowing if you're in a side-by-side battle. I suppose we'll see maybe some track limits violations here. There's real close battling. Into turn 5, long right-hander. You see a lot of people pass around the outside in turn 5, although it doesn't set them up for an inside shot at the chicane here at turn 6, 7. Pushes out wide. We've already got gravel on the track right before turn 8 into turn 9. These curbs are deceptive. A lot of people will take those inside curbs aggressively, and you can spin the car on them. Into turn 11 now, pushing out wide. Turn 12, I think, is a underrated passing opportunity here at Hungaroring. And then the dueling hairpins here at 13, 14. He's trying to control the understeer. Back on the power. Uses the pit exit for runoff. That's allowed. And then through the right-hand hairpin here. Taking a late apex. And let's see where we end up. Tim's going to post a 54.2 to get us started. Good stuff. Taking a look at the times, Jack Wilkins on top with that 40.844, currently 0.8 up on Jake Fulton. Tommy Cogan punching his ticket at the top with a 45.6 in GT3. Taking a look at some of the other times, just trying to see who's close. Mike Gallant down there in 8th right now. Points leader in GT3. See if we can find somebody in LMP3 getting to start a lap. Looks like Jake Fulton's actually about to come around, and we're going to jump in the mail slot. See what it's like around Hungaroring with a LMP3. Let's pull up that track map. This part of the track, I think, is going to be really tricky if the LMP3s are battling. Not a lot of traction control on the LMP3s. It's kind of a meme. Both into turn 2 and turn 3 as well, I think. It's going to be real easy if you're battling close. Too much rotation, too much braking, and spin the car. Good lines, though. Good lines. Into turn 5. Pushes out wide. Not too wide. Setting up. How much curb does he take into the chicane? Dodges the sleeping policeman on the inside of 7. 8 and 9. He is just gently touching the inside curb. And an 11. A little more curb out of 11, and then on the exit curb using as much as he can muster. Into 12, let's see. Interesting. Okay, so turns in early. And now, how much understeer is it going to get in 13? Not too much. You can see how it's the LMP3 with the downforce has got a little bit more turn in than the GT4s. And Mr. Jake Fulton currently in 5th, 4/10 back. Goes to the top, actually, with a 40.776. Okay. All right. LMP3 AM showing up. Taking a look at the times. Chris Turner, 2nd in GT4. That's right. He's an AM driver. Tommy Kogan, Corey Lobner duking it out for top times. Andrew Mathias punching in over Lobner with 1/10 back from Tommy Kogan. We're on board with Kerry Nolan, one of the Mustangs, going through turn 2. I suspect with a little bit of battling, we're going to see some off tracks at turn 3. Drive-through penalties, I think, are going to be a big deal. I think it's going to be real interesting to watch. So Jack Wilkins does pip Jake Fulton by a half second with a 140.2. We switch quickly to Andrew Mathias, then Kerry Nolan, then back to Andrew Mathias. They're around the same spot on track, so it thinks they're both exciting because their cars are relatively near each other spatially. I think we'll just focus on Kerry Nolan so that we don't constantly flip-flop back and forth. Looking at deltas right now, I'm not seeing a lot of Cesar Torres looks like he's going to put in a pretty decent time. We do get 3 actual sectors here at Hungaroring. Corey is purple in sector 1, but his sector 3 time looks pretty sad. And Kerry Nolan here is going to come across line. He's got yellow sector 1, sector 2. It does move up a little bit. Who else do we have here? Mark Robeson's setting some personal bests as he's coming out of the final corner. Where's he going to punch? In at... Is he going to leapfrog John Newman? Does not look like he's going to. And we are ticking down the seconds as we close out qualifying here. Scott Fleming is coming across the line. And he's going to go second fastest with a 54.329. Just barely bumps over Chris Turner. And there you have it. Qualifying done and dusted here at Hungaroring as we get set for the first race, the heat race. We're going to be doing a 20-minute heat race. And then we'll be doing a 70-minute feature, which the grid for the feature race is going to be set by the finishing order of our heat race here. 15 people in chat. Thank you all for joining us for round number 3 of the sports car series here at Hungaroring. Cars are going to be gridding, but real quick, let me get set up over here and maybe we can just bump through the finishing order here. Let's go to the grid. Show me the overall. Oh, clear that out. Try that again. All right. Jack Wilkins, Benjamin O'Shea on the front row with Luke Patrick, Brenton McFall. Second row, Jake Fulton, Nathaniel Baker are on the third row with Logan Branson, Sean Sullivan, Herbert Pineda, and Alan Love are going to finish out the grid for LMP3. Just jump down now. Tyler Torville, Tommy Kogan. They're on the front row of GT3 with Tanner Schiffner, Andrew Mathias. A real tight pocket there with the top 4. And then we've got Corey Lobner, Kerry Nolan on the following row of the grid with Mike Gallant in the middle of the order alongside Christopher Blue. Gian Cardoso in the 42, 20th overall. Eduardo Zamora lined up alongside of him. We got Alexander Vitoshkin and John Newman. Mark Robeson round out the GT3 field. Let's go back to a little bit further. Our GT4 competitors. Tim Rosenfield on pole for GT4 Pro with Scott Fleming in front of him. Or not in front of him, but alongside him. Chris Turner and Jaden Ledbetter are on the second row. Robert Lewis, Tim Mello behind them with Paul York and Ethan Hamlet in the back of the GT4 grid. And we have Cesar Torres and Ryan Nolan actually in the back of the field. I don't know if they're going to grid up or what, but we've got a LMP3 and I think a GT3 in the background. So let's jump to Mr. Jack Wilkins. Let's hide this guy. All right. We're getting geared up. You're adding a pace lap. So wait a minute. You're going to do a full lap and then the actual warm-up lap and then the race. Am I understanding that correctly? I wonder if the GT3 and LMP3 in the background are going to sneak to the front during that time. 2 corners from the start. Yeah, it makes sense. Go to... Can we actually be good if we could go to the safety car? Is that possible? Find out. That's weird. It looks like... Okay, so you didn't go in. Okay, cool. Making sure. So making it a full lap. I got it. Although it does look a little all over the place. Not gonna lie. But people are gonna warm up their tires before they get started. Ryan Nolan has crashed. It's unfortunate. Hopefully that's not serious. Thank you. Thank you, Upward Worm. I did take a drink. Kind of curious. How do I get to the safety car in SDK? Navigation. Interesting. Nope. Cannot select the safety car. Rather than this, let's go to the blink cam while we're watching. Cool. There's your GT3 field. Getting warmed up. LMP3s are trying to get temperature in the tires. Very important. Frank, why not both? Right? I do believe there is some degree of warming that happens, but I don't think the tire model does it exactly the same way that like they behave in real life. Because there's other things you can do like brake boosting and a whole bunch of other things, but I'm not sure how much of that is part of the iRacing tire model. The tire change that we experienced, I think, at this point, I think it's like a year and a half ago, was really dramatic for the sports car series. It forced people to be very conservative about when they would jump to new tires in the pits because there were no tire warmers in this series, so it was very tricky. Let's go ahead and get down at the track, as that is a terrible shot, as Mr. Jack Wilkins is holding the field and getting geared up for his pace car. Well, the lap to in and us to go green. And where is he going to go? Oh, we've already got somebody out on track. Okay. All right, in the grass. And we've got nose to tail. Jack Wilkins, Luke Patrick. Luke Patrick sliding out to the outside, although we've actually got a car diving on the inside to nowhere. Like I told you, the inside, you got to be careful on that. You will go bowling. It will happen. Back at the GT3 field, Tyler Torville gets off to a good start. Tommy Kogan on the outside as Tanner Schiffner's on the inside. And then we've also got Andrew Mathias, I believe, in the background there, one of the Corvettes. Everybody's getting through okay. Let's go back to Tim Rosenfield, who gets off to a very good start. GT4 field nice and bunched up as they're getting ready to go into turn one. Chris Turner on the inside line. He's going to have to brake super early, but I think Scott Fleming's got him covered off. Although it does look like Tim brakes a little deep, and that gives Scott a run on the exit as they head down to turn two. Two McLarens. I guess McLaren's like the meta now. Does look like Scott's going to hold the line as they get ready to go into turn three, although Tim is rushing back. We got nice side-by-side action here. Tim Mello off the track, but everything's going the same direction, so no harm, no foul. Both these McLarens are just going absolutely at each other into turn five. Paul York marked as crashed. Hopefully nothing too dramatic as they get ready to go into... Oh, man, he got right up to the rear end of Scott. Let's actually jump into the roll bar with Tim as he's trying to... Actually, let's get the nose cam because GT4 roll bar is kind of... We don't want to see the top of the inside of the car. All right, let's see. Is he going to try and maybe punch the inside as we go into turn 12 here? Under braking. I think Scott's got pace on him here at the start. I don't know if there was more going on with the tires or what, but definitely looks like Scott has a little bit more pace right out of the gates. Oh, you can see just a little correction on corner exit. It does look like they are sliding. Take a look real quick at that weather. I think I have, yeah, we're still sitting on 24C, 36C track temperature. That's pretty gnarly. Pretty gnarly. All right, let's jump back to TV3 and take a peek at what else is going on. Does look like Cesar Torres in the Black Saturn LMP3 has moved up the field. He's in 7th overall. Oh, Benjamin O'Shea marked as crashed and then jumped to the pits. Although actually I see something a little bit... Okay, so let's take a look. So this is... Whoa. Okay. Try again. All right. All right, this is Benjamin O'Shea coming out of 14 and just over-rotates. Oh, I think netcode, he just got tapped on the rear end and the back end of the car just went to the shadow realm. I think that was Brenton McFall in the background. So he's got no rear end. So that means he's going to have no rear wing, and that's going to be really hard to drive home. I think that's why he jumped to the pits. Yeah, I think that's going to be the reason why. Let's jump back into it, though. Taking a look. Tanner Schiffner on the gearbox of Andrew Mathias. Andrew Mathias is really holding this field from P3 down. Gearbox shot from the Corvette as they go through turns 3 and 4 and 5. Here we go into 5 right now. You can see that long right hand corner. Everybody's hanging close, and then they get to the chicane. GT3s are just monster trucking the curbs. Everybody is just jumping these curves like crazy. Now that was a bit far out. I'm wondering how many off tracks we're already at for some of these guys. I think we will see a healthy amount of drive-through penalties. Nathaniel Baker clocking in with a 40.697 to get the fastest lap in LMP3. Let's jump back to GT4s and see if we've got any close action going on. Tim is still hanging with Scott. Chris Turner in the background there. Ethan Hamlet a little bit back. Wendell Sanders 85. When my wife and her boyfriend are having room times, so I genuinely am allowed to watch Twitch, so I'm low-key happy. When my wife and her boyfriend are having room time. That's funny. T1 never felt right? Okay. I got you, man. I got you. So Frank, when you go off track, you will get in iRacing they refer to them as X's. You're allowed a certain amount of X's. I think with this race, I think it's 20. Like you get 20 X's, and then after that, so after the 20 X's, you'll get a drive-through penalty. And then I think it's every 10 after that. So that's how it works. So taking a look at Sean Sullivan as he's trying to hold off newcomer Cesar Torres. Hopefully the car audio is coming across okay. If anybody thinks it's too quiet, just let me know in chat. Let's actually jump on the nose and see how these LMP3s handle going into 3, 4, and 5. Just looking at the data right now, I'm seeing that we've got a few GT3s that already have 6Xs. So, you know, they're quarter of the way to a drive-through, and we're 7 minutes into a heat race. This isn't a special event. This is a league. We're going to be racing this weekend, Wendell, and we're going to be next week. Oh, that's a GT4. Wonder what happened there. Let's see if we can jump back to the television feed and see what happened to Paul York. Monster truck in the curbs. Oh, so he's in the grass, and then the rear end's just, yeah, the right rear was not on asphalt as he started to turn in. So I think that's just what happened there. And then he's got to be extra careful getting the car back on track. Got some more LMP3s catching him. So, but Wendell, so we're at Hungaroring this weekend. We'll be at Navarra next weekend. So we don't race every Saturday, but the calendar is on the site. And if you're interested at all, you can find that over here. You can also follow along with the championship standings. Although Cesar Torres, the Giga lockup, I'm kind of curious. Whoa, okay. We got some stuff. We got some stuff and some things happening here. Let's see if we can go back in time, find out what happened here. So if I go to here. All right, so I think this is the lockup into turn 1. So Logan Branson's in front of... Okay, so then he gets touched. Logan... Oh, no. So Sean just catches Logan right on the tail, and they spin. And is it possible to join the league? If there's still slots. Yeah. Yeah. Here. The other thing to check out is our Discord server. You can check that out over there and see if registration's still open. So, yeah. With that, that was... I think everybody got going back in the right direction pretty quickly, so I don't think there's a significant harm in LMP3 right now in terms of standings and positions, although Brenton McFall now is on the gearbox of Sean Sullivan as they get ready to go into turn 12. Not sure if there's very much damage between Sean Sullivan and Logan Branson with that small contact. It didn't really look like a lot. As we pass the halfway mark in this heat race. Jumping back to the front, Scott Fleming, massive pace at the beginning, helped him establish a little over a half second, but Tim Rosenfield is right there in the 5:02. So some good placement here in terms of pace relative to these two guys. They are really duking it out. LMP3 starting to move into the GT4s. Kind of crazy that the LMP3s are already into the GT4s 11 minutes in. So this is going to be real tricky. So we're going to see. Oh man, he gets to the chicane at the most inopportune time for Scott Fleming. Scott had to probably brake so early to let that LMP3 through. And I believe, is that a GT4 in the background? Or GT3, I should say. Some craziness going on. Some absolute craziness. Oh, here's Logan. Is he going to get to turn 12 before the GT4s do? Oh man, Caesar is okay. LMP3s are definitely spicing it up. Definitely spicing it up. John Sullivan, or excuse me, that's Scott Fleming, and then Caesar on the inside. Real easy for that move to happen. The 530. Oh, Chris. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Are you going to jump back in for the heat race? Not sure if you're dealing with any kind of like networking issues. We also got some hot action here in GT3 as Gian Cardoso is trying to catch Alexander Vitoshkin in the 94. Good deal, man. Try and get those points. The feature race is very important. So Benjamin O'Shea with the repairs. He's back out on track, and he is pretty far down. He's probably not going to catch any of the LMP3s before the feature race. I hope the extra lap is in the feature too, or as well. Pineda Baker? Yeah, I can go back and take a look at that. Yeah, that's a good catch. Yeah, Herbert Pineda Sr. currently in 3rd overall in LMP3. And he's trying to hold off Nathaniel Baker. Good racing. I don't know if we're going to get a DT in the heat race. I thought we might. When I saw some drivers getting to 6 within like the first like 4 minutes, I was like, yeah, we're going to get a DT in the heat race. But they're doing pretty good. Yeah, this battle between Herbert Pineda and Nathaniel Baker. Let's see if we can ride on board. Or let's see what the the fight looks like from the chopper cam. Let's go back to Nathaniel's car, and you can see. I like looking from this view because I like seeing. Oh, you see Herbert's washing out, starting to scoot to the outside of the track. I think he might have had a little bit of a lockup going into turn 5. But I do like this view because you do get to see kind of how people are entering and exiting the corner. Really good view of their lines. And unlike the F1 drone cam, this one not going to be vomit inducing if that's your thing. So sorry to disappoint. Back down to the TV cam. Let's go jump and see. There's a few close fights. This track is going to be very difficult. One of the big things that's going to be a challenge here is because it's a short lap. It's a technical circuit. We got multi-class racing, so I expect that the field is going to kind of like distribute out. Like you can even see it on the track map now. We're only 15 minutes in. But the field's going to spread out. Going to create almost like an even layer most places on track. So I think what's going to be a big deal here is going to be, it's going to be down to strategy. It's going to be about those fuel and tire changes if necessary. You won't see that in the heat race, although Corey Lobner, I thought he was about to take a dive to the inside on Austin Green. Let's actually go at it from Corey's perspective. And Corey's right there. He gonna make a move? Let's see, he's got the slipstream. I don't think he had quite the exit he was looking for. Get ready to go in the braking zone. Doesn't show him the nose. Yeah, I don't think he's close enough. And GT4s are kind of spread out. Ethan Hamlet does look like he's closing on Tim Rosenfield at a pretty good clip. Last lap was a 53.97 to a 54.06, so a little bit more pace. Oh, on the brakes. Tim Mello diving to the outside, and that kind of got everybody all squirrely, as I think that's Mike Gallant in the background trying to snake his way through the chicane. Is he going to get the inside line on the exit? Does look like he gets there, and he gets in front of Kerry Nolan. Now he's got Corey Lobner in his sights. We've got another GT4 in front. I think that's Jaden Ledbetter. Jaden's going to filter over right on top of Kerry, doing black flag things. Real close racing right here. I think they're going to catch another GT4 right before turn 14. Austin is just like, get out of my way. All right, so they got another GT4. I think that's Chris Turner going into turn 1 right now. Mike Gallant's going to get around the inside. Kerry Nolan, I thought he was going to show him the nose. I think these GT3s are going to clear. I don't know if they're all going to clear Chris before we get to turn 2. Kerry Nolan just slides to the inside on prep for turn 2. Chris Turner on the inside. Mike Gallant's going to shove him out a little bit wide. But I think we're back into nose-to-tail racing for a little bit. Jump into the back. It does look like some sort of shakeup happened, because Herbert Pineda is now in second. Let's see if we can go back and see what happened there. I don't see anything with Luke Patrick happening, so I'm kind of curious. Interesting. Let's jump back. See if we can figure out what happened. Oh, Luke lost it. I told you guys. 8 and 9. They're deceptive. 8, 9, 10, 11. They're deceptive. They'll catch you. That's how Herbert Pineda got around Luke Patrick. So now it's Luke Patrick and Nathaniel Baker going at it, and they've got Paul York in front of them as they're getting ready to go into turn 12. I think Nathaniel's going to get to... Oh, no, this is at the chicane. Sorry. So 6 and 7. I think... Yeah, they're both going to clear Paul York before they get to the end of the lap. Back into the GT3 battle going on. Kerry Nolan trying to hang on to Mike Gallant. So Mike Gallant last lap was a 45.09. So really what it is, so Austin Green up here, last lap was a 45.61, which is like 0.6 slower than Corey Lobner. And technically 0.6 slower than Mike Gallant and 0.5 slower than Kerry Nolan. So Austin's under a lot of pressure right now. Ooh, got some spiciness with the LMP3s. Teammates, Logan Branson's and Cesar Torres. Oh, he's got the slipstream. Is he going to punch it on the inside? Logan moves to the inside, going to try and cover him off. Paul York is just... Oh, I missed that. That's the end of the race. We did have Jack Wilkins come across the line in first with Herbert Pineda in second. Luke Patrick in third. Tyler Torville still got to complete his lap, but he's getting ready to go into 13-14 right now. So let's keep looking through the LMP3 field. We've got Jake Fulton, Logan Branson, Cesar Torres, Brenton McFall, Alan Love, Sean Sullivan are going to be your LMP3 field. And Tyler Torville is going to punch his ticket to the top of the field for the feature race with Tommy Kogan in second, about 2/10 back. Andrew Mathias is going to come across in third with Tanner Shifter in fourth. GT4 field coming around the final corner now. Scott Fleming is going to hold off Tim Rosenfield. And Tim's actually going to finish in front of Ethan. Ethan was like really moving. Ethan at the very end punching in a 53.7. The man's unhinged. And you all will be shocked to hear that Chris Turner completely trounced the GT4 AM field. Chris Turner in a car full of baboons. And that's going to be your finishing order for the feature, or the heat race. We're getting ready to grid up for the feature race. Let's go to those results and take a look. LMP3 Pro. We get the results. There we go. Jack Wilkins on top. 4.7 seconds ahead of Herbert Pineda Sr. with Luke Patrick. 5 seconds back. Nathaniel Baker, 12 seconds back from the race leader. And Cesar Torres in the Black Saturn is going to round out the top 5. Benjamin O'Shea is going to try and get a recovery here going into the feature race. Going to try and farm some points. Let's go to LMP3 AM, take a peek. Jake Fulton on top with Logan Branson in second. Brenton McFall in third. Alan Lowe, Sean Sullivan round out your top 5 for LMP3s into GT3. Tyler Torville getting, I believe that's his first heat win this season with Tommy Kogan in second. Andrew Mathias in third. Tanner Shifter in fourth with Austin Green in fifth, and a crowded GT3 field. Looking at GT4 Pro, Scott Fleming holds off Tim Rosenfield with Ethan Hamlet in third. Robert Lewis in the 949 machine finishing fourth in front of Jaden Ledbetter. And GT4 AM Chris Turner had a hard fought race and manages to hang on to first place. I'm just going to leave this here. We're going to celebrate Chris's victory. I'm going to toast him in the number 9 machine. You did good. I'm proud of you. All right, let's take a look at those temperatures. 24 ambient temperature with a 45% humidity. Cloudy skies. We're in the feature race, ladies and gentlemen. 70 minutes. We have a 50% capacity limit on fuel for GT4s and LMP3s. GT3s are on a 45% capacity. So we will be seeing some stops in this race. I suspect we're going to have 25 to 30 minutes for the GT3s and probably 30 to 35 minutes for the GT4s and LMP3s around here. So should be pretty interesting. Again, it's a short lap at Hungaroring. I think it's going to be a strategy race for sure. Yes, the 530 had electrical issues, Golden Rider. I saw that. We're hoping we're going to get that settled for the feature race and see if we can get the 530 back up into the GT3 field and see if Chris can farm some points. It does look like the field is gridding up. Look at that field. That's a big field. 34 cars for Hungaroring. We do have drop rounds. So some folks will still have some opportunities later in the season to continue and try and state their claim on the finishing order here in the sports car series. Want to remind everybody, next week we'll be at Navarra for another 70-minute feature race for round 4 of the sports car series. Anybody interested in being part of the action, be sure and check out our Discord. And for the fans at home that want to follow along with the standings and learn more about Track Limits Racing, you can access our website at tlr-hub.web.app. Hope everybody's having a good night tonight. Let me know in chat if there's anyone you're rooting for. I think everybody's rooting for Chris. I just checked the chat like right before. So 7:36, right? So 7:36, that's about 4 minutes before I start the stream. Mark Robeson in the GT3 field messages and says, just bought Hungaroring, so I'll be there. It's gonna be interesting. I thought Mark didn't do too bad. And here we go. We got that pace car lap starting. We get geared up for 70 minutes around here. Actually, I'm kind of curious what the pace lap's going to do for fuel. Wonder if that's going to make some calculations a little wonky. $20 people in chat tuning in for the feature race. Thank you all for being here. Another reminder for folks about Hungaroring. Been hosting organized racing since 1986. We're going to be racing around 2.72 miles or 4.38 kilometers. I think the sports car series was a pretty good race for the heat. Definitely had more action than the F1 race. Looking forward to seeing what the feature race holds, especially when it comes to pit strategy. I think with the times we're looking at a definite two-stopper for the GT3s. I'm kind of curious about the GT4s and LMP3. Is anybody going to try and risk it for the biscuit? Pull off a one-stopper with like a gig of fuel save? Jack Wilkins on the front row alongside Herbert Pineda Sr. And then we got Tyler Torville, Tommy Kogan in GT3, Scott Fleming, Tim Rosenfield in GT4. Should be pretty exciting action right out of the gates. Folks are trying to get tire temps up. Pull up that track map and that weather real quick. Again, 32C for track temperature, so a little bit cooler than what we saw in the heat race. Wondering what that's going to do for racing action in tire dag. Does look like we've got a nice grouping of cars spread out for the start. We switch over to Jack Wilkins, who's going to be leading the field into the final corner. He's going to be holding the field back, and he's ready to go whenever he's in the clear spot to punch it. And there he goes. Off to the races. Down into turn one. Looking at the field. Wanted to see what it looks like going into turn one. We do have Luke Patrick on the inside around Herbert Pineda. Nobody locks up, so that's pretty good. That inside line is brutal with the LMP3s. Tyler Torville gets a jump. Tommy Kogan under threat inside line from Andrew Mathias. What is Andrew Mathias going to do under braking as he's got the inside line? Is he going to try and roll it into the corner? He is going to stay out in front of Tanner Schiffner, but he's not going to be able to do anything about Tommy Kogan. Does look like Austin Green in the background there, trying to maybe sneak around Andrew Mathias. Let's go back to the GT4s there. Getting ready to go into turn one right now. Scott Fleming. Robert Lewis on the outside. Interesting. Scott Fleming, Tim Rosenfield, Robert Lewis, top three, Paul York in fourth. Scroll down to live events and see if we can spot some very close action. Austin Green. Again, these GT4s are just bunched up. Let's go. It looks like Tyler Torville did not get the same kind of jump this time. This pack of GT3 cars is the closest thing going on. You can see it in the track map. Like the front grouping of GT3s is like super bunched up right now. Andrew Mathias on the inside line into turn 12. He's not going to make the move on Tommy Kogan this time. Do you see Eduardo Zamora marked as crash? Let's see if we can find out what happened there. Hey. The lone Acura. The small wheelbase. I don't think he managed to collect anybody. So that was good for him. No damage to the car. Just get it going straight again. Catch back up to the field. I think he's still got opportunities, especially with the pit stops being a thing. Back to the racing action. Tyler Torville still out front with Tommy Kogan under pressure from Andrew Mathias. If we take a look through the field now, let's jump back to GT4s as Tim Rosenfield is harassing Scott Fleming right now. Mark Robeson already in the pits. Wonder if he's going to take that early splash. Maybe try and get his stints lined up. So in iRacing, right, you got safety licenses, right? You got to work through some of your safety licenses to race in certain categories right now. I do want to comment right now that either the interface is broken or Jaden Ledbetter is still marked as a rookie with a 2.5. Not sure if that's real. People in chat can let me know. Logan Branson under pressure, but Brenton McFall actually washes out way wide on the exit of 13. And it looks like Sean Sullivan followed in his draft. Jaden Ledbetter, Ethan Hamlet behind Paul York right now. They go into, I believe that is turn 8 and 9. Chris Turner dropped back behind Jaden Ledbetter. Not sure if he's on the fuel save or what. There goes Ethan Hamlin on the inside of Paul York into 12. Jaden Ledbetter, I thought, was going to try and follow him through, but maybe he's going to line up on the outside. Does he go to the inside line? He does not. Chris Turner is right there, though. We're going to get on the nose cam. Whoa, rear end of Jaden stepped out a little bit. Good catch, though, to keep it from going into the wall. Under braking into turn 1. What are we going to see? Chris does move to the inside, but he's actually just kind of consolidating his position behind Jaden. But corner exit was not his friend, and Tim Mello is right there. These GT4s are really bunched up. I got to wonder if Chris is on like some sort of giga fuel save. Jaden really wants to clear. Paul York is going to 4. Chris takes a very wide line through turn 5. Staying out in front of Tim Mello. Into the chicane. Not nearly as aggressive on the curbs as the GT3. I wonder if there's something about the suspension model. And we've got Paul York blinking. So that's going to definitely cause some jump scares in the GT4 field. Oh, man, he washed out big on the exit of 11. And now Jaden Ledbetter is lined up as we get ready to go into 12. Is Paul going to let him go? Jaden's got the inside line. Now, see, Paul York's going to have the inside line. So Paul just rolled through the corner, just decided to take the off track probably, and now into 13, he's got the inside line on Jaden. So he's going to be able to consolidate that position. But he did wash a little deep, but that puts him in the right spot for the inside line into 14. Some really good close racing here. Meanwhile, at the front, Scott Fleming and Tim Rosenfield still going at it. So GT4s are really delivering on the action right now. Tim Rosenfield last lap of 53.9. So he's cooking. He's cooking in the GT4. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. Let's go take a look at some of the other competitors on track right now. Logan Branson trying to hold off Brenton McFall. Looks like he's going to stay out in front and make that happen. Now back to the absolute gaggle of cars. Tyler Torville still only 0.8 ahead of Tommy Kogan. And then we have an absolute gaggle of GT3s. What is that? Tanner Schiffner. Under pressure from Austin Green, Corey Lobner, Mike Gallant. People are cooking. Benjamin O'Shea, after having that spin on the exit of 14, trying to find his way around Herbert Pineda Sr. Let's jump on the nose cam. Ooh, Herbert on the exit of 9. Definitely looked like he was maybe losing the back end a little bit. Into turn 12, Benjamin O'Shea just trying to consolidate his position. And we do have, I believe, some GT4s coming up. That is Luke Patrick in front. A little bit of a lockup from Herbert Pineda. Taking that late apex. Going to push out wide. Let's see what their times look like when they cross the line. So Herbert Pineda with a 41.02 and Benjamin O'Shea with a 41.03. So very, very close. Actually, let's get to that blimp cam as we're watching the LMP3s try to filter through this GT4 traffic. On the entry into 2, Tim Mello on the inside of Benjamin O'Shea. Benjamin O'Shea just squeezing through the very small gap that he has between Paul York and the edge of the road. And then they clear Chris Turner as they get ready to go down into turn 4. Oh, smooth from Herbert Pineda. Just sneaking right up the inside of Jaden Ledbetter as they get ready to go into turn 5. That was crazy. Back in the GT3s, Andrew Mathias still trying to find his way around Tommy Kogan. Into turn 5, we're going to see what the difference is between the Corvette and the Lambo. Both of them seem relatively good on front end in terms of getting the turn in, and they just hop over the curbs without a care in the world. Still keeping it close. Speaking of close, LMP3s are filtering through the race leaders in GT4 right now as Scott Fleming's still trying to hang on to the top spot. And right in front, Herbert Pineda, Benjamin O'Shea still going at it. Benjamin's going to try and hold the outside line. Let's jump up to Benjamin as they get ready to go into turn 2. He's near the rear quarter panel. Does look like they might touch. Little bit of a lockup. Maybe a little bit of a tire squeal. Benjamin is not letting go. Herbert's going to try and get defensive as they go into turn 4. Moves over on the outside line. Benjamin's going to have to consolidate and maybe give it another shot. Tim Rosenfield gets absolutely swarmed by more LMP3s and allows a little bit of a gap to build up. But right before they get to the chicane, he's able to reconsolidate behind Scott Fleming going through the chicane right now. 6 and 7 through 8 and 9 right here. Sean Sullivan's going to have to strike while the iron's hot on the outside. Crazy action going on right now. Mike Gallant, in the meantime, trying to fend off Kerry Nolan. The Echelon Simsport McLaren currently sitting in 7th in GT3. Jumping back on board with Ethan Hamlet now. as he's trying to catch Robert Lewis. You have one of the LMP3s on the inside on the approach to turn number 1. Robert Lewis in the 949 machine hanging on to third right now in the feature race. Washes out deep in turn 1. I think that's going to give Ethan Hamlet the spot. Yeah, he's going to consolidate behind him as he gets ready to go into turn number 2. Ethan Hamlet moves up the order. Now 13 minutes have elapsed in the feature race here at round 3 Hungaroring. Watching the Sports Car Series on Track Limits Racing. 20 people in chat. Thank you for joining us. Hope the racing action is exciting. Speaking of exciting, last lap from Jack Wilkins was a 39.69 in the LMP3. So he's cooking. So Scott Fleming in front of Tim Rosenfield, and they have a hard-charging Ethan Hamlin right now. Watching other relatives right now, but I'm just waiting to see where Ethan Hamlin is going to show up in terms of times as he gets ready to go into turn 14 here. Not nearly as many off tracks with 13 minutes elapsed. Looking at the times now as they come across. So 55.22 from Scott and a 55.06 for Tim. A 53.8 for Ethan. So Ethan Hamlet is catching these guys at a pretty good clip. Why, thank you, Frank. I appreciate it. Ooh, we just saw something go down. Hang on. We're gonna go see if we can figure out what happened here. I'm seeing Corey Lobner like fall down the order. What happened here? Let's go see if we can figure out what happened here. Okay, so we're getting ready to go into turn 1. Corey Lobner on the inside line as they go into turn 1 now. Off-camber nature of the corner can catch you out. Does look like he hangs on. Mike Gallant, and I believe that is Kerry Nolan in the background. Corey into turn 2, holding the outside line on Austin. Did he just have like a really bad exit or maybe an off track that triggered a... Oh, Mike Gallant got shoved out wide. I don't know if there was contact, but definitely Mike Gallant got kind of shoved out wide. Then we get ready to go into the chicane. I'm still waiting to see where Corey Lobner... Oh, maybe it was Austin that was triggering all that activity on the timing tower. But we'll jump back to live. Take a peek. Yeah, so let's go take a peek. Going back to... So Corey Lobner finds his way around Austin Green, Kerry Nolan, and Mike Gallant. Mark Robeson went to the pits and said goodnight. Have not seen him since. Cesar Torres also did not take the green flag. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, they're going to catch Paul York right before turn 5. Paul York actually washes out deep on the exit of turn 4, so that's going to get Corey Lobner and Austin Green Kerry Nolan. I don't know if Kerry got around Paul York or not. He did. Where's Mike Gallant? Mike Gallant gets around Paul York before the chicane. Oh, Tim Rosenfield off track? Excuse me? Excuse me? Well, let's take a look here. What happened here? All right, so Ethan Hamlet's on the gearbox. Oh, the inside curbing. Yep. What'd I say? 7 and 8. Strikes again. It's deceptive. But Tim Rosenfield drops down to behind Chris Turner. So 6th overall in GT4, and he's got to try and catch Chris now. Ethan Hamlet is closing in on Scott Fleming. Tyler Torville is currently 1.3 seconds ahead of Tommy Kogan right now, getting through the GT4 field. Kerry Nolan in the pits early. 18 minutes in. Wonder if there's a strategy there. Corey Lobner under pressure from Austin Green. Somebody we haven't watched a lot of, Tanner Schiffner right now, running a pretty decent race in the 51. Right behind Andrew Mathias, just knocking on the door of the top 3. Andrew Mathias actually catching these GT4s at a very awkward spot. Through 8 and 9. Does seem like he's going to clear him, though. Tanner Schiffner just following him through. And the field is starting to spread out. Christopher Blue, after the electronic issues, the 530 machine is back in the race and currently behind Gian Cardoso. No, that's John Newman, actually. Behind John Newman and Gian Cardoso as trying to get up into... So he's just inside the top 10, trying to catch John Newman and hold off Alexander Vitoshkin. They're going to catch Paul York in turn 13. Paul York's going to get shoved out wide, and GT3s in this field are going to take another lap. Although Mike Lawn actually dove in the pits. So Kerry Nolan in the box for 13 seconds. Let's take a look at Mike Gallant and see how long he's in the box. Eduardo Zamora also coming in. That's a long pit stop. 13 seconds. Is he going to be in there for 20? Remains to be seen. Meanwhile, Nathaniel Baker trying to chase down Herbert Pineda. So Mike Gallant in the box for 22 seconds. So lost about 9 seconds to Kerry Nolan in terms of pit stop times. That's pretty big. Eduardo Zamora out after 15 seconds in the box, so he's kind of split in the middle a little bit. Those are our first GT3 runners. So Ryan Nolan or Kerry Nolan pitting on lap 10 with Mike Gallant and Eduardo Zamora on lap 11. Taking a look right now. So in LMP3, this is the closest fight we got going on right now. Herbert Pineda, Nathaniel Baker. Where's that? Oh, Alan Love's a little bit further back, but oh, Sean Sullivan's in the mix here. Forgot. Daniel Baker on the inside of Sean. That's going to throw him pretty far out. And he's back in it. Meanwhile, Ethan Hamlet continuing to close in on Scott Fleming. Man, he's right up on him. Can we get that lap history? I wonder if we can get that lap history. Let's look. Let's do This one, I think. Take a peek. Oh no, that's Lewis. Let's switch it to Hamlet and Fleming. So yeah, Ethan. Yeah, Ethan's doing pretty good right now. 53.8 on lap 7, and he's holding low 54s. Low 54s last lap from Scott Fleming was a 54.8 to Ethan Hamlet's 54.1. So yeah, pretty good pace from Ethan right now. Jake Fulton, Brenton McFall, catching Paul York. Paul, we just, I don't know. The camera's cursed, Paul. I promise I'm not constantly picking cars that are close to you when they're feeding through. But it just happens to be coincidence. I don't know if Brenton's going to get around. Yeah, he's going to take the outside line around Tim Mello. Tim Mello currently running in, I believe that is 7th overall in GT4, right behind Tim Rosenfield, who is actually catching Chris Turner. These LMP3s going through 13 right now. I wonder how that's going to throw off Chris, if it's going to throw him off at all. I'm actually interested to see that we haven't had any kind of like cars getting tangled up on pit entry. This is an awkward pit entry because it's the exit of 13, and there's a tendency to drive into the pit lane, push it out wide. So yeah, it's into turn 1. Looks like Kerry Nolan gonna sneak around. I think that's Jaden Ledbetter in the background. Luke Patrick is in the pits. He's marked as crash. Let's see what happened to Luke. Okay, so Luke trying to clear some GT3 traffic, getting ready to go into turn 2. Is that a failure? Is that a hardware failure? He just pulled straight off the track. What happened there? There's a story to that we will have to probably wait until the end of the race to find out. Speaking of stories, this one continues to heat up. Ethan is just all over the back of Scott Fleming right now. So checking in on those GT3 pits, Alexander Vitoshkin pitting on lap 12 for 16 seconds. So it looks like 15, 16 seconds is about the middle of the field. I think Kerry Nolan did not take tires. That's probably why he's looking at like a 13.2, if I had to guess. And I think probably Mike Gallant did take tires, and that's why he's on a 22. John Newman in the pits. Yeah, Luke Patrick still in the pits. Minute and 36 seconds. That's got to be some kind of hardware something. Got to be. So Ethan getting caught out by multi-class traffic at the wrong times. We're going to jump into the fight with Herbert Pineda, who's still trying to stay in front of Nathaniel Baker. The fight between Ethan Hamlet and Scott Fleming is your closest battle on track right now. With 26 minutes elapsed, I think we're probably going to be looking at this until we get through the pit cycle. So Ethan trying to stay close to Scott, but the fact that we've got LMP3 and GT3s filtering through GT4 traffic right now is kind of tricky. Still waiting to see if we get any more GT3s in the pits. We've got 14 laps being completed, and we don't have Still waiting to see if we get any more GT3 takers for the early stop. Or if they're going to take it all the way to the 30-minute mark. Let's take a look right now. What are we looking at? John Newman, 23 seconds in the box. I think he took tires. Luke Patrick is still in the box. Daniel Baker's still trying to find his way around Herbert Pineda. Actually, let's go from gearbox on Herbert Pineda. What it looks like up close. And you can see he really pushes it in a turn 5. You can see the smoke. Maybe getting a little rotation. Tyler Torville, race leader in GT3. Tommy Cogan follows him in. Got a race on our hands in the pits. Corey Lobner in as well. Austin Green. Tanner Schiffner. Going to find his way around. So we're going to see what Tanner Schiffner can do if he's pushing a little bit deep. Is he going to be able to maybe leapfrog Austin Green? Back again, Ethan Hamlet still trying to catch Scott Fleming, Mike Gallant in the background. An early pit stop on lap 11. Trying to clear these cars and try and close back in. Where's Mike Gallant going to pop out relative to Austin Green? Austin Green's back out on track well in advance of Mike Gallant. 20.35 seconds in the box for Austin Green. So 50.62 to a 51.2. So give or take a second advantage right now for Austin in the pits. Logan Branson taking the early pit stop for the LMP3 runners on lap 17. We're going to see how that works out for him. Ethan Hamlet again getting caught by the traffic, losing ground. And Tim Rosenfield finds his way around Chris Turner. Robert Lewis in the pits early. 25.2. I'm thinking he took tires. Eduardo Zamora trying to thread the needle here with these GT4s in that short wheelbase Acura, the lone Acura in the field. There's the cars with no issue. So Tanner Schiffner in the box now. Ian Cardoso is going to come around. So Tyler Torville exiting right now. Tanner Schiffner, let's see where Tommy Cogan is. He's just now exiting behind Andrew Mathias. I think they're both going to clear. Are they going to clear Tanner? No, Tanner's going to get to the control line. Oh, yeah, but he wasn't up to speed yet. So Tommy Cogan, Andrew Mathias going to clear him. But they're going at it. So I'm wondering if Tanner's going to get an opportunity to close in, and any kind of like benefits that Andrew Mathias and Tommy Cogan are getting with post pit stop. I'm thinking both of them did not take tires. Andrew Mathias was in the box for 19 seconds. Tommy Cogan was in for 21.9, I think. So. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us for round 3 of the Sports Car Series here at Hungaroring. We are not quite at the halfway mark. So Jack Wilkins has pit from the lead. He was in the box for 23.7 seconds. Wondering if tires were in the cards for the LMP3s because everybody's over 20 seconds in the LMP3s. I think so. Jack is coming around 13 right now as Herbert Pineda goes into the pits. Hasn't even made it to the box yet. Nathaniel Baker's going to try and leapfrog him, maybe try and get the overcut. Although I think the undercut's pretty strong around here. Being Cardoso in the pits, I think he's the last GT3. Let's see what he gets as far as times. He passes the 20-second mark. 21.47 for GN. So Herbert's going to cycle out, I think, behind Logan. Yeah, he's going to cycle out behind Logan. He might cycle out behind... No, he's going to cycle in front of Alan Love. So. And with that, the field is good and distributed. So Tim Rosenfield pitted on lap 16, 25.15 in the box. Chris Turner's going to the box right now. We're going to start watching his times. As Tim has not quite made it turn 12 yet. Ethan Hamlet leapfrogs Scott Fleming in the box. 25.1 to a 27.28. That's dramatic. And with that, Ethan Hamlet's going to take the lead of this race. Chris Turner right there. I believe Robert Lewis coming around 14. No, he's already passed Tim Rosenfield. Is he going to get past Chris Turner? I think so. Chris Turner's in the box for 37.5. Wow. That was a big pit stop. Scott Rosenfield, or Tim Rosenfield's going to clear Jaden Ledbetter and slots in behind Robert Lewis. So up into 4th overall after falling down the order. All right, Nathaniel Baker is going to cycle out in front of Herbert Pineda. Yeah, just in front. Although Herbert Pineda is going to push it into turn 1. Probably a little too deep, a little too ambitious. And Nathaniel Baker is going to stay out in front of him. Although I think Herbert's going to be giving him a tough time into 2. Because his tires are going to be back up to temperature where Nathaniel's going to have to work to see if he can get his tires back up into temp as they clear Paul Yark before turn 4. Herbert's pushing into turn 5 on the inside. Now, if he can hold this line, he's set up for the chicane. On the brakes into 6. Yeah, he's going to stay out in front. So with that, Herbert Pineda with the fresher tires clears Nathaniel Baker, moves up into 6th overall. They have 3 LMP3 AMs to clear before they can catch back up to the top 2. Herbert Pineda is actually gapping Nathaniel Baker right now. Nathaniel Baker currently 1.2 seconds back. So here's the story, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be in a strategy race from here on out, I think. We're 36 minutes, so we passed the halfway point. There's literally one car inside of a second to the next one. That is Corey Lobner chasing down Austin Green right now. So I suspect we're going to be here for the next 30 minutes. What I suspect is if we see any action on track, it's going to be because of multi-class traffic management. But I think it's a strategy race from here on out. Oop. Speaking of which, take a look what happened to Benjamin O'Shea. He's marked as crashed. So he's clearing Andrew Mathias as they get ready to go into turn 4, but he's on the outside. Oh, and the back end's gone. Back end just slips. Okay. He just barely tapped the left front. Is it gone is the question. Is it gone? Let's see if we can jump to live, find Benjamin O'Shea, and see what we're looking at in terms of real damage. Benjamin O'Shea was in second. It still shows he's in second. Watching him go into 13 right now. I think he might have snuck out of like a real problem there. Yeah, he's still 5 seconds clear of Brenton. So he's 15 seconds back from Jack. He's going to need something miraculous to bring Jack a little bit closer. But just like multi-class traffic could take it away from him in terms of staying close to Jack, it's entirely possible for him too. Mike Gallant's in the pit again. Wonder if Mike is... So Mike pit a little early. He pit at 11. So he's going in again. Oh, wait a minute. Shows he's entered the pit lane, left the pit lane, but he doesn't show his actual pit counter go up. Was that a drive-through? I wonder if he just got hit with a drive-through. Daniel Baker's marked as crash. What happened here? Getting ready to go into turn 2. Just the LMP3 doing LMP3 things. It's back end kicking out, and the traction control doing absolutely no good other than making a lot of noise at you in some sort of offensive manner. Tommy Cogan is caught back up to Andrew Mathias as they're trying to clear, I believe that is Tim Rosenfield on the outside. Or no, that's not Tim, that's Scott Fleming. That's GT4 Pro race leader. Tommy's trying to keep up with Andrew. Ooh, we've got a big something. What happened here? Okay, so Herbert Pineda on exit of the chicane getting ready to go into 8. Right there. What just happened? Did they touch? And then Herbert loses the back end. He's got to wait. There's Sean Sullivan. More traffic coming through. He filters in behind Christopher Blue. Okay, let's take a look at Jaden. So Jaden is... Can we see it from the blimp? Let's see. Let's see if they touch. Yeah, I think he caught the rear right on Jaden, corner exit. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. And then Jaden lost some ground. Jaden filtered in behind Chris Turner, so he's sitting 7th overall now. And Herbert Pineda drops to 8th overall in LMP3 with Luke Patrick marked as a black flag. Yeah, Luke hasn't come back after his car went off track. Whoa, TV3 not giving us a good look. So yeah, what did I say? We're not going to be having a lot of racing on track in terms of like close action. From here on out, I think it's all about traffic management. It's all about strategy. Like you gotta know when to let the faster class around, and you got to know when to be patient with the slower class in front. So I'm looking right now. Tyler Torville currently in the lead of GT3 with an 8-second gap on Andrew Mathias, who's being chased down by Tommy Cogan. Closer race right here is Gian Cardoso, Christopher Blue, Eduardo Zamora. Oh, wait a minute. No, excuse me. Eduardo Zamora is 7 seconds back. That is actually Herbert Pineda in the background behind Christopher Blue. And Herbert's going to filter in on the inside into turn 2. Going to get the inside line on Christopher Blue. We're going to see if he can catch Gian before turn number 4. Making up some positions. Yeah, Chris is out here, putting in the work, man. He's up 14 spots, and that's because he started at the back of the field because of the disconnect. But he's putting in work. He's not trying to leave anything on the table. You got to hand it to him on that one. So that is Tim Rosenfield and Christopher Blue on the outside. Now they're getting ready to go into turn. Exit turn 9 into turn 10 right here. Trying to clear Tim Rosenfield in the McLaren and out of turn 11 going into turn 12 right now. So Gian Cardoso going to hang on to that spot. They are side by side getting ready to go into turn 1. Corey Lobner on the inside line. Let's see how they handle it. The off-camber nature of turn 1 can be tricky, but Corey Lobner does hang on to it, and he's going to sneak out in front of Austin Green. Austin's going to try and battle back as they get ready to go into turn 2. There's another awkward corner. I actually think turn 2 is like on camber on entry and then off camber on exit. Eduardo Zamora marked as being in the pit lane. And I do see him in the box. Okay, so he's pitting early. He's going to try and see if he can set his watch to, what would that be? I believe we're looking at 26 minutes to the end of the race. Yeah, I think it's 26 minutes to the end of the race, if my math's right. So I think Eduardo's good to the regs. To just try and undercut the field. Last lap from Jack Wilkins. This man is setting some blistering pace, a 39.4. And he's got a 21-second gap on Benjamin O'Shea right now as he's just cooking. Benjamin, I think, is just, like, after the spin, I think he's just running his numbers and, just punching in times, just trying to finish with that second place. With second place points, Kerry Nolan's in early. Okay, so Kerry Nolan going in early. Let's jump to Tyler Torville. All right, so we're watching Tyler. We're focusing on GT3 for a little bit. We know Eduardo Zamora winning early. He was in the box for 16 seconds. I suspect there's no tires involved there. Probably just fuel. We're watching Kerry Nolan's times right now because I'm interested to see, relative to the field, what Kerry Nolan posts in terms of time. So he's already over 16 seconds. He's falling down the order right now at 20-second mark. I wonder if he's taking the tires. Now, 22 seconds in the box. So now we get to see what that means for Kerry Nolan in the end of his race. LMP3s are catching Tommy Kogan and Andrew Mathias at the wrong time. A real tough section for them. They don't have the same aerodynamic advantages of the LMP3. And the straights here are short, so the acceleration of the LMP3 should help them kind of like get around the GT3s on corner exit a little bit better. But when it comes corner to corner, LMP3s do not want to be on the inside line to the GT3. That'd be very bad for them. Ooh, Andrew Mathias actually showing the nose to, who is that? Is that Jake Fulton? Yeah. That was wild. Back to the battle with Gian and Christopher Blue. They're getting around Scott Fleming right now. GT4 overall leader. Kerry Nolan marked as crashed. What happened here? Okay, so he's coming down into the chicane. Oh, catches the sleeping policeman, and the back end just kicks out on rotation. But luckily, he did not go to the fence. Alexander Vatoshkin's in the pits. So a lot of the GT3, or well, I say a lot. Three of the GT3s of 14 have pitted within the last 25 minutes of the race. So Christopher Blue trying to hang on to Gian, making it a race. Benjamin O'Shea's in the pits. So Jack Wilkins took the pit stop lap 27 to get good with fuel. He's coming around right now. He's going to clear Benjamin O'Shea by a good amount of time. Brenton McFall's diving in the pits right now. So Benjamin O'Shea, he's in the pits for 8 seconds, or in the box. Jack Wilkins was in the box for 6.77 seconds. So really, really hoping that's his number, because that's a short pit. Speaking of which, Brenton McFall's also in the pits right now. Benjamin O'Shea cycles out behind Jake Fulton, Logan Branson, but we're assuming they have to pit. So I think Benjamin O'Shea will still naturally cycle around P2. Mike Gallant's in the pits. This time I think it's for real. We're just hanging out with Benjamin O'Shea as they're filtering through traffic right now. I believe that's Logan Branson in front. And they are stuck behind GT3s and GT4s. Paul York on the outside as they go into the chicane. And he's going to lumber through the chicane, let these LMP3s around him. Meantime, Logan Branson's still in front of Benjamin O'Shea as they go through 10 and 11. Tommy Cogan and Andrew Mathias don't want to disrupt the top three here, but Benjamin O'Shea on the inside line as they get ready to go into turn 12. That's going to box Logan Branson in. Logan just thinks better of it. Maybe try and catch him on the switchback as they go into 13, but I think the move is done. So Jake Fulton in the pits now. Andrew Mathias washes out wide, and that gets Benjamin O'Shea off guard. And I think he's going to get him before the end of the start-finish straight. So start-finish straight a little bit longer. GT3s can kind of hang with the LMP3s a little bit better. Ooh, the back end almost stepped out on Benjamin, and he clamped down on it and made it through turn 1 with no issue. Jake Fulton, Logan Branson, both going to cycle out behind Herbert Pineda Sr. Race leader Ethan Hamlet, 9.3 seconds ahead of Scott Fleming right now, pumping in. Last lap was a 54.2 to Scott Fleming's 54.8. GT4 field is good and spread apart. You can see that from the relative right now. You got the whole field that's still running, all 8 drivers. GT3s, 2 close races still left. We got Mathias and Kogan and Blue and Cardoso. Looks like Blue did finally get around Gian Cardoso. Can we figure out where that happened? Christopher Blue makes the pass on Mike Gallant as they're going through the pits. Now this is down into turn 1. Can we see what it looks like? Christopher Blue on the inside line. He's going to go deep into turn 1. Gian's on the outside, but Gian don't know. Yep, they switch back. Okay, so he had enough overlap to clear him, and then Christopher Blue on the inside line into turn 2. And I think this is going to make it stick. That was clinical stuff. Andrew Mathias in the pits for the early stop. Where's he going to cycle out relative to Christopher Blue? I think he's going to cycle out in front of him. Yeah, he's all the way down to turn 1 right now. Eduardo Zamora did cycle out in front of Alexander Vitoshkin after Alexander pitted on lap 26. Nathaniel Baker finds himself in front of Brenton McFall. Although Nathaniel Baker still has to pit. I think Nathaniel Baker's trying to cook because he wants to come out. He wants to filter out ahead of I think Herbert Pineda when they finally do the pit stops, the two of them. So I think Brenton McFall will filter in front of them. Andrew Mathias in the pits for a 15.2. That's a pretty good pit stop. Probably just fuel. Get to the end of the race. We have 17 minutes left. Brenton McFall in the draft of Nathaniel Baker. As they head down into turn 1, is he going to commit? Looks like Brenton wants to. SMC LMP3. Closest action on track, but relatively speaking, it's not really a race between these two right now. Nathaniel Baker has yet to pit. Brenton McFall has 8 laps fresher on stint by comparison. I'm thinking Nathaniel's going to have to stop one more time. And they catch up to the GT4 AM leader, Chris Turner, who is somehow managing to hold on to first place in GT4 AM. So with 15 minutes left, it's down to traffic and strategy. I think it's going to be down to just those two pieces. Because closest fight that doesn't include this one right now is between Logan Branson and Jake Fulton, I believe. Still waiting to see if we're going to get some GT3s in the pits. Oh, good night, Dad. Tommy Kogan getting caught by this duo, still duking it out in LMP3. Ryan Nolan trying to catch John Newman. Ryan Nolan, one of the lone BMWs in the field. Lonely race right now for the GT4s. Jake Fulton and Logan Branson going at it. So looking relative to these two, definitely an interesting race right here. So both pitted on lap 29. There's about a 5-second difference in their pit box time between Logan Branson and Jake Fulton. So yeah, pretty big delta there, and I think that's what pulled Logan into battling with Jake Fulton a little bit. Tyler Torville in the box. See where Andrew Mathias cycles out relative to these two. So Tyler Torville in the box now with less than 13 minutes. Tanner Schiffner is going to cycle out around him. So 11.45 in the box for Tyler. That's going to be a pretty consistent fuel stop. And he's going to filter back out on track behind Corey Lobner. 11.63, so 0.2 off. And I believe Tommy Kogan going to filter out in front of Andrew Mathias, but behind Austin Green, although Austin Green hasn't pitted yet. So really it's still Tyler Torville, Tommy Kogan 1 and 2. We're going to have to wait and see what the rest of the pit stops have in store for the GT3 field. Sean Sullivan, Herbert Pineda Sr. This is a race for position, and we do have a flashing Paul York in front of us as they exit turn 11 on approach to 12. I do not think they're going to catch up to the McLaren, who Herbert Pineda Sr. on the outside, being very bold, and then on the inside line into 13. Now this is going to set him up. It's going to pinch his exit into 14. Sean Sullivan, this is going to be a drag race down to turn number 1 with Sean Sullivan on the inside line. Under braking into turn 1. Sean Sullivan does look like the rear's cooked on Herbert Pineda Sr., and Sean Sullivan's going to take that spot. But is Herbert Pineda going to try something into turn 2? He rolls deep into the corner, closing a lot of ground to Sean. Corey Lobner's in the pits, Austin Green, Christopher Blue in the pits. So quite a few of our GT3 runners diving in for their last stop with less than 11 minutes. They catch Scott Fleming at the most inopportune time as they're getting ready to go into the chicane. Herbert Pineda waiting to let Scott through, and then they go into 8 and 9. He just, okay, so yeah. Scott had a very tight exit, and Herbert could just like let it roll right on past him. Man, Jake Wilkins still setting fast laps at 38.9. Man's busted into 38s. He's traveling through time and space, leading the LMP3 field by 17 seconds. The man's in a hurry to get to round 4. Nathaniel Baker still in front of Brenton McFall, but yet to pit. Tanner Schiffner's now in the pits now. Where is he going to cycle out relative to Corey? Corey's just now exiting 11. Or excuse me, 10. Oh, no, that was turn 11. So he's going in 12 right now, and then he's got the double hairpin, 13, 14. We're watching Tanner in the box right now. He's got to really hit under 10 seconds. 8.87 is a good time. What is he going to do to the control line? Are we going to see it? Is the TV just going to give us the bad shot? I think he's going to cycle out in front of Corey Lobner, and he is right behind Andrew Mathias. Robert Lewis in the pits for 13 seconds. Where is he going to cycle out? Well in front of Jaden Ledbetter as they go into turn 1. Looks like he's going to hang on to 6th place. I don't think Chris Turner... Well, actually, none of the top field have pitted yet from P5 up. So, waiting to see when Chris Turner pulls the trigger. Nathaniel Baker still out on track. Herbert Panay Sr. in the pits finally. And where is he going to cycle out relative to the field? Kerry Nolan is catching Austin Green through the chicane. Last lap from Kerry Nolan was a 44.91. Austin Green just now back out on the track after being in the box for 11 seconds. 11 seconds shorter than Kerry Nolan, I might add. Scott Fleming. Tim Rosenfield. Just now getting to his box. Yes. So Ethan Hamlet still has yet to pit. Scott Fleming back out on track in turn 1. Tim Mello's going to cycle around Tim Rosenfield, as is Chris Turner, although neither one of them have pitted yet. Jane Ledbetter's in the box. Jaden Ledbetter has a black flag. Is that for pit lane infraction? Is he taking a drive-through? Yeah, he just took a drive-through. So that's one. Ryan Nolan in the box now, or going to the pits. So so Tanner Schiffner ahead of Corey Laubner, right behind Andrew Mathias. We're still waiting to see some more pit stops. Nathaniel Baker still has yet to pit. And he is really trying to hold off Brenton McFall, as we are now less than 6 minutes to the end. I'm curious, is Baker trying to pull the one stop? Because we're on lap 38. So I'm thinking we're going to get 41, 42 laps maybe. Ooh, that was awkward. Jaden was not happy about it. He's giving him the disco ball. And the rear end almost stepped out for Nathaniel. So Nathaniel's trying to hang on to P3 with both hands. But we're past the 5-minute mark. So I think we're going to find out here shortly just how... okay. Hang on. Hold up. Ooh, Gian Cardoso comes out in front of both Mike Gallant and Christopher Blue with a 5.33 in the box. Are you kidding me? What a stop. That's the fastest stop of the night. Gian Cardoso just pulling a fast one on Christopher Blue and Mike Gallant. Meanwhile, Nathaniel Baker still just trying to hang on. Brenton McFall's on the inside into turn 2. I think Nathaniel's got to let him go. I think Nathaniel's on the fuel save this late in the game. Oh, never mind. On the exit of turn 3, man pushes it deep. Says, I don't care about an off track. As long as he didn't get hit with the slowdown. And now they're going nose to tail into turn 5 on the inside line. Nathaniel Baker he's got one hand on P3 and he doesn't want to let go. They're going into the chicane right now. Robert Lewis in the 949 machine on the outside line. He's not getting involved. He just brakes super early for turn 8. It's what I'd probably do. Taking that outside line. Brenton McFall does find his way around Nathaniel Baker. And I think that might be it, because I'm really thinking the only reason Nathaniel Baker would trying this is because he's trying to do the one stop. Herbert Pineda Sr. With the black flag. Yeah. Yeah. Brenton's now just gone. I think Nathaniel Baker's just saving his absolute butt off, trying to get home. Sean Sullivan in front of Jake Fulton and Logan Branson stopped on lap 20. We got somebody else going for the fuel save. Somebody else going for the fuel save. The only other person that's going for the fuel save right now, we've got Ethan Hamlet, Tim Mello, Chris Turner. GT4s, I think, will have an easier time. They're a little more spread out. So unless Chris Turner or Tim Mello goofed on their fuel, I think they're safe from Tim Rosenfield and Robert Lewis. Herbert Pineda Sr. has crashed. He's in the pits. Get this, man. Oh, no. Tim Rosenfield did not know where to go relative to Logan Branson exiting that corner. So Ethan Hamlet went into the pits in the box for 5 seconds. He's going to pull out, I think, where is he going to pull out relative to Scott Fleming? Scott Fleming, yeah, he's just now hitting 14. He's fine. He's cleared him. That was hair-raising. Nathaniel Baker is back in front of Brenton McFall. How? Brenton McFall's in the pits for track limits. Wow. Nathaniel Baker trying to do the one-stopper. Sean Sullivan in it too. Nathaniel Baker, Sean Sullivan trying to pull a fast one on everybody. And they may do it. That's white flag. It's white flag. This is it. Chris Turner's in. Where's Chris Turner going to cycle out? There's Tim Rosenfield. There's Beltan. Beltan coming across the line. Jaden Ledbetter has to go into the pits. Everybody trying to go for that one stopper, but we've only got a few people that seem to have really gotten the calculations to pull it off. Jack Wilkins right now hitting 12 into 13, 14. And he may finish behind Andrew Mathias and Tanner Schiffner. So they're going to have to take another lap. So hopefully they got fuel for it. Meanwhile, Sean Sullivan going through the chicane right now, trying to hang on to this spot. That is so crazy, man. That is absolutely bonkers. So Logan Branson off track. So he fell back relative to these two. Man, he is really trying to hang on to that spot. They're going into 12 right now. Jake Fulton around the outside. In the inside. I don't think he's going to do it. Sean Sullivan's got the inside line. I apologize for not catching the end of this race, but this is the closest thing going on right now. And he loses it in the corner. Is he going to get around before Brenton McFall? I don't know if he's going to do it. Nope, Brenton McFall is going to catch him. Oh, wow, what a finish. Jack Wilkins dominates round 3 at Hungaroring. I apologize, Jack, for not catching the end of your race, sir. We just had a very, very spicy into the race because of the fuel stop situation. Benjamin O'Shea is going to come across the line in second. Jake Fulton is going to take third over Brenton McFall. And Sean Sullivan with the one stopper does manage to sneak across in fifth. What a finish. Tyler Torville right now. Man, we missed so many of the finishes. But Tyler Torville is going to come across the line. He's going to take it at round 3. What a race, man. Tommy Cogan's going to come across the line in second. Andrew Mathias and Tanner Schiffner now coming across the line. Third and fourth, respectively. What a race, man. What an absolute race. Ethan Hamlet's going to take first in GT4 Pro with Scott Fleming, Tim Rosenfield finishing second and third. Robert Lewis is going to finish in fourth, right ahead of GT4 AM winner Chris Turner. Wow. What a finish, man. That was something. Man. We got a few people trying to get their cars home. So that was pretty good. That was a pretty good finish. I'm happy about that one. That was a pretty good finish. That is round 3, ladies and gentlemen, at the Hungaroring Track Limits Racing Sports Car Series. We will be back next week at Navarra for round number 4. So if you want to keep your attention on this racing action, you're definitely going to want to be there. Let's jump into... Nope, I don't want that. Apologies if that played over the radio. Let's take a peek. I think we're okay. What was I trying to do? Oh, I got it. I'm just getting stuff set up. Let's get that's what I wanted. I wanted the standings. I wanted to get the standings pulled up. Come on now. Sorry, the interface is being rather wonky. Go to the feature, LMP3 Pro. Yeah, show it. Oh, now show it. Cool. Jack Wilkins with the finish. Benjamin O'Shea in second. Very dramatic race for Benjamin, but getting that second place finish, I think, is going to be good points in the championship series for him. Nathaniel Baker sneaks across the line in third with Herbert Pineda in fourth, Luke Patrick in fifth. After I'm still confused what the end of the race was for Luke Patrick going into turn 2. It just looked like his car just went straight and he just punched out. So I don't know if there was an electronic failure or something. And then Cesar Torres did not take the green flag in LMP3 Pro. Let's jump to the AMs because Sean Sullivan really tried to sneak a fast one over Jake Fulton and Brenton McFall. Manages to finish ahead of Logan Branson. So Jake Fulton's going to take the win with Brenton McFall in second. Sean Sullivan in third. Logan Branson and Alan Love are going to be your 5 finishers in LMP3. Jumping to the GT3 category, the 14-car field. Tyler Torfield with the win, 5 seconds up on Tommy Cogan. Andrew Mathias, Tanner Schiffner down to the wire, only separated by 0.6. Corey Lobner's going to be in 5th with Kerry Nolan 6th. Austin Green 7th. Gian Cardoso in 8th. Mike Gallant in 9th. And Christopher Blue in 10th. Gian Cardoso really sneaking it past everyone in GT3, or at least Mike Gallant and Christopher Blue with that 5-second pit box to get fuel. So the pit lane travel time difference, the total pit lane travel time between Gian Cardoso, Mike Gallant, Christopher Blue. Gian Cardoso was a 34.5. Christopher Blue was a 40.6. Mike Gallant was 46.8. So 12-second difference for Gian Cardoso. So big advantage for him. Very, very interesting calculation, let's say. You did not die, Chris. I was there. And you won. I know it was tough. You're probably sweating. This is a real tough race for you in GT4 AM, but I think you held it together. You really showed your composure. You could really give everyone in GT4 AM a run for their money. You almost died in T1. I mean, a lot of people almost died in T1. Ethan Hamlet, top spot in GT4 Pro, 22 seconds ahead of Scott Fleming with Tim Rosenfield 50 seconds back. Tim Rosenfield, Robert Lewis managed to sneak around Chris Turner there at the end. Jaden Ledbetter is going to be in 5th with Tim Mello in 6th, Paul York in 7th. And then, drum roll, please. Chris Turner, top spot GT4 AM. If we had a driver of the day, I'm pretty sure everyone would have voted for Chris. That's a very good report. We got Mr. Vetkin. I'm wondering if that's Alexander. Good race. and Poopy Paul. Hello, everyone in chat. Let's get set up to raid somebody. Trying to think who's a good person to raid right now. Let's see. Again, want to remind everybody next week, Navarra, another 70-minute feature. Should be exciting. Another technical circuit. So kind of awkward traffic management probably again. So keep that in mind if you've got nothing to do next weekend. Ooh, rain. Ooh. That's gonna be spicy. Rain at Navarra. Wow. That's a choice. I am a fan of how like Jaden just like woke up and chose violence for Navarra. All right, let's take a look and see who's doing what in the good old iRacing category. Should we do ovals? I haven't sent it to somebody doing ovals in a while. Wait a minute. There's a 24 hours of Fuji going on right now? Really? I didn't know that one. A Global Endurance Championship? All right. Well, we got a guy, Dr. Wodka. Pretty sure that's probably his beverage of choice. Let's get set up to send you guys over to Dr. Wodka, who's doing the 24 Hours of Fuji Global Endurance Tour with Meishian 1. So go ahead and say hello to him when you guys get over there. Thank you guys again so much for being a part of the action. As always, I'm Wealth Cakes. This is round 3 at Hungaroring. The sports car series is going to see you all next week at Navarra. Maybe we'll have Finn back in the booth with us. But thank you all for being here with me. I thought it was a really good race. There's a lot of good action. But until then, we'll talk to you guys next week. Hope you all stay safe out there. Take it easy. Say hi to Dr. Wodka for us.